Hey guys, welcome back to Done with Depression. Today we're going to talk about being on antidepressants and what to expect for your first time starting antidepressants. So, me, I had never been on any medication before. This was my first prescribed medication besides like antibiotics when I had a flu or whatever and things like that. I guess not a flu because the flu is a virus, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so this was my first time on prescribed medications. It happened when I was an inpatient and I got to see my psychiatrist. They prescribe you your medicine to begin with. Now, they select which one they want to start you on. There's a ton of different antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicines that you can take. So it doesn't necessarily matter which one they start you on, because if it doesn't work, they can just put you on another one. So for me, my first antidepressant that I took was Lexapro, and they started me out at 10 milligrams, which is the minimum effective dose, which just means that's the minimum that they can give you to have the desired effect that they're trying to have. So I took that. I wasn't really feeling a difference, to be honest. And then day two, he immediately bumped it up to 20 milligrams of Lexapro. Now, when you're in inpatient, I think that they do this because they're trying to get an effect rather quickly. So you're in inpatient, they're trying to stabilize you as quickly as they can. That's why they're so apt to bump it up so quickly right after just starting. In talking to some of the other psychiatrists throughout my experience and my journey, they said that ideally they would want to start you on one dose of it and see kind of how it plays out for at least a couple weeks before they up your dose. But inpatient is obviously a different story. So I started taking 20 milligrams of Lexapro, which is the maximum dose. So Lexapro is unique in that it doesn't have a large range of how much you can take. So some of the other ones, there's like 6 or 7, 8 steps maybe between the minimum effective dose and the max dose that you can take. But Lexapro just happens to be like 10 or 20 pretty much. So I started taking 20 milligrams and I started to feel a little bit better. For me, Lexapro didn't end up working long term. I felt better at first, and then after about a month or so, maybe 2 months, it started to kind of die off, and the effects that I were having started to weaken. As far as side effects, I didn't really have any side effects with Lexapro. That's one of the first things that they look for. If you have a lot of side effects, they'll switch you up immediately. But overall, Lexapro was good while it worked until it started not to work. In inpatient, they also will sometimes offer you anti-anxiety pills or some sleeping aids, since it's anxiety producing environment in there, and it's also rather difficult to sleep sometimes. So I was given that option. I took a sleeping pill maybe twice while I was there, but I didn't take the anxiety medication. But anyway, so that's kind of my journey, starting out with Lexapro and the first time taking antidepressants. Another side effect that I might have had is that I didn't really have any feeling at all. So my downs weren't as low, but as far as my other feelings, it didn't really make me happy. It just made me less depressed, if that makes any sense. I guess in those terms, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. But I kind of expected it to make me happy and make me back to a quote unquote normal me. But medicine also isn't the cure all for everything. Obviously, working through treatment and going through the program and talking in groups and learning coping skills and all of that stuff helps with the depression and anxiety and other things as well. The medicine is not going to be the magic cure-all. So Lexapro overall, while it worked, I would probably give it about a 7.5, just because it made me feel less depressed, but it didn't like make me happy, if that makes sense. So I'd give it about a 7.5. Once it started to not work anymore, it almost lost all of its effect. So after month 2, I would say, I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 10. It was not working. I was almost just as depressed as I was before, and it was not good. Now, this is just my story. You might have a different experience. I wouldn't say don't use it or specifically ask for it, because this is just my experience. You'll have a different experience probably. But yeah, that's kind of where I was with that. Stay tuned for my other videos. I ended up switching from Lexapro to something else. So stay tuned to the other videos and see my experience switching medications over to the second antidepressant that I used. Also check the description below. I have a book that I just finished and a book that I'm reading now in there. 4 Agreements and The Intelligent Investor, and there's links down there if you're interested in those books. Also like and subscribe and share with a friend so we can get a great community of support going here. Thank you guys.